Dear student, I welcome you again to Mathematics in Standard 6. We are still looking on the Unit 1, which is talking about counting. Unit 1, it's about counting. Now, we are on Part D. Remember, we said Unit 1 is a bit long because we are introduced to counting bigger figures. Just as you have seen so far, we have been counting big figures, the millions. Now we have been looking or counting at figures of different intervals. For example, we looked at the counting of figures with the intervals or differences of 100,000. Then last time we were looking at figures that have got the difference of 10,000. But today we are proceeding with the counting numbers in intervals of 5,000. Counting numbers in intervals of 5,000. I ask you to be there. Let us be together up to the end of this unit. It's another part that we are going to enjoy. We are going again to count the figures. So let's be together here. But before we proceed, remember these are the units or the 30 units. I remind you now and again so that you should know the journey in Standard 6 of mathematics. All the 3 terms you are supposed to look at these 30 units. 30 units for 3 terms. So remember to go through each and every term thoroughly, each and every unit thoroughly, so that you are sure of what you are doing. That is in Standard 6. So go through. There is subtraction of money in decimals, multiplication of money in decimal notations, and all those topics, the angles and the like. So go through. These are the topics that make up its Standard 6. But now we are still looking at the first one, the first unit, which has got Part A, Part B, Part C. Today we are on Part D, and it is continuing. It is continuing because if we know how to count, then the rest we're going to do it very easy. So let us be together. Again, here with me, I have the the table. The table, as we will be counting numbers in the intervals of 5,000. So look at this table. Study this table. As you can see, it has got big figures. For example, here there is 1 million, then 1,005,000. The next one, 1,010,000. The next one, 1,015,000. 1,020,000. 1,025,000. 1,030,000. 1,035,000. 1,040,000. 1,045,000. In the first row here, we see all these big figures, but all of them we have to find a clue. Find a clue. How are these figures written? So if you observe, the first one is 1 million, but when you go to the next, you find that it is 1,005,000. The next, 1,010,000. Then 1,015,000. Just by looking at these figures here, these 4 figures, the first 4 figures, they can give you a small clue on how these numbers are written. What is that clue? Now, if you agree with me, you will see to it here that now there is 1 million in the first place, but the second one is 1,005,000, then 1,010,000. What does it tell you? It tells you that the difference between the first and the second is 5,000, and between this figure and this figure is 5,000. So that one is the clue that is there throughout this table. So pause a little bit and go through. Pause this one and go through. Study the whole table, this whole table. pause it and you will see that really indeed the differences are 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, but they are the figures written in millions, in millions. Now here with me, now I have an exercise that is there. We are going again to do it together. The exercise or the examples that we are going to count the numbers, counting the numbers in the in intervals of 5,000. So let us be together. So in the first example, let us start by looking at the first example then. The first example, the figure is this one. 1,210,000, then 1,205,000. Then we have not been given the third figure, the fourth figure, but the next figure is 1,190,000. Then the last figure is not given. Now, how do we feel? How do we find the numbers that are there in these gaps, in the gaps here? How do we find the numbers? Now, remember, I said that the first thing is to look at the clue. What is the clue? What is the clue behind? Mathematics is a game. Once you know the game, you know the tactic, then you have defeated, you have won the game. Now, let us find the clue. Here it is 1,210,000. But here it is 1,205,000. Here 210, 205, 210, 205, 210, 205. Look at that. 210,000. The other one 205,000. Therefore, there we see that there is a clue there. And what is that clue? We see here there is a difference between 1,210,000 and 1,205,000. What is the difference? It is indeed 5,000 is the difference. Therefore, again, the other clue that you have to know that this number is reducing because it is first to 1,210,000, then 1,205,000. Between 10 and 5, which one is bigger? You see to it that 10 is bigger and 5 is smaller. Therefore, the numbers are reducing as they go. So which means the difference between 1,210,000 and 1,205,000 is now 5,000. Therefore, the next number, it is telling us that it is also to be reduced. This number is going to be reduced by 5,000, which means we are going to have 1,000,000. We have 1,200,000 because we have reduced by 5,000. So you can see to it we have removed this 5,000 to arrive here at another figure there. So you see to it here that the number or the figures are reducing. What about the next one? It means again we are going to reduce this 1,200,000 by what? By 5,000 again. So it is going to be what now? It is going to be 1,195,000. How did we arrive at 1,195,000? It is by reducing 200, this 200,000 by 5,000. Therefore, we arrive at 195,000. Therefore, it remains 1,195,000. We are still reducing. So there, If you come here, you find that there is already a clue. This figure that we have found here, 1,195,000, has been reduced by 5,000 to arrive at 1,190,000. Are we together there? I hope you are following. Now, further, because the last one again there is a gap, we are going to further reduce 1,190,000 by 5,000, which means we reduce it, the previous figure by 5,000. It is going to be 1,185,000. Always remember the commas. So here you see to it that we have reduced again. We have reduced 1,190,000 by 5,000 to arrive at 1,185,000. So here we have found a clue here. We have put the missing figures in the spaces there because the figures were reducing by 5,000. Remember, we are just looking at the intervals. Intervals are the differences, whether the differences are moving forward or they are moving backward, but the difference should remain the same. That is an interval. So here we are looking at the interval or the difference of 5,000. But the first example we have looked at reducing by 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. So we have found here 1,210,000, next 1,205,000, then 1,200,000, then 1,195,000, then 1,190,000, then 1,185,000. If you observe all these, we have reduced them by 5,000, 5,000, 5,000 throughout. Let us look at the next example. Now, having looked at the first one, now let us look at the second example. So in the second example again, we see here that we have also been given another number here. There is 1,495,000. The next one, 1,490,000. Then 1,485,000. Then there's a gap. Then the next one is 1,475,000. Then there's a gap. Then lastly a gap. How do we find this figure? How do we find this? How do we solve this problem? Therefore, so the first thing is, as usual, let us find the clue. Are the numbers adding or they are being reduced? So in the first place, you can see to it, the first one is 1,495,000. The second one is 1,490,000. Are they reducing or they are adding? I guess you are right to say that they are reducing. These figures here, they are reducing. See here, there is 95, then here there is 90. Then the next is 85. They are reducing by what? The same 5,000. So these numbers, they are reducing by 5,000. Therefore, there is a gap after 1,485,000. Now we need to reduce by 5,000. Therefore, we are going to arrive somewhere. We are going to have our figure here, 1,480,000. So that is, we have reduced by 5,000 because the numbers, they are reducing by 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. To confirm that, the next number or the next figure that we have been given, it has also been reduced, like 80,000 has been reduced by 5,000 to arrive at 75,000. Therefore, it is 1,475,000. Therefore, let us further reduce to find this figure here, the missing figure which is here. We have to reduce this 75 by 5,000. We're going to arrive at 1,185,000. 470,000. Remember the commas? So we have reduced again, just as here it has been reduced to arrive here. Here again, we are going to reduce 75 by 5,000 to arrive at 70,000. And to find the last gap, we are going to reduce this 70,000 further by 5,000. So which means it is going to give us 1,465,000. 1,465,000. It means we have reduced 70,000 by 5,000 to arrive at 65,000. Hence our number or our figure is 1,465,000. I guess there you are following. You are seeing now that we are counting these numbers by reducing the intervals of 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. The number that we get, we always reduce it by 5,000. So follow through. Keep on following these things. Now let us look at the last example. The third example now. Let us look at our last example. In the last example that we have been given here, we see now that there is also a big figure that is being given. There is 1 million here. Remember? 1 million, then 1,005,000, then 1,010,000. Then there's a gap. Then we have 1,020,000. Then there's a gap. Now, how do we find the missing figures? The first thing is to look at the clue. What is the clue behind this problem that we have been given? So let us first find the clue. What is the clue? We find the clue by observing how these figures have been written. Let us look at how they have been written. The first one, 1 million. The second one, 1,005,000. The third one, 1,010,000. Here, we can find a clue within these three figures, because the first one is 1 million, but the next one is no longer 1 million, but there's a change by 5,000. Now, that change, is it adding on 1 million or is it reducing? I guess you're right to say it is now adding. The first two examples, they were reducing, but this third example now, we see that 1,005,000 has been added. Therefore, the next figure is no longer 1 million, there is 5,000 on top of it. The third one, there is 10,000 on top of it. It means the 5,000, another 5,000 has been added to make it 10,000. Therefore, they are adding by 10. From there was 1 million, but they have added 5,000. So it is adding by 5,000. So there is an addition of 5,000, 5,000. Everywhere there is 5,000, an addition there to make the next figure. Therefore, to make the next figure again, we need to add 5,000 to arrive at this figure. So if this one is 10,000, therefore plus 5,000, we are going to arrive at 1,015,000. Why? Because we have added 5,000. It is adding 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. So there's 5,000 as an addition. We are here now, 15. So 15, when we add 5,000, where are we going to arrive? We will arrive at 20,000 because we're adding the thousands. Again, the next one, how are we going to arrive here? It's plus 5,000. So what is it? It means it is this 20 plus this 5,000. Therefore, it is going to give us 1,015,000. 25,000. I guess now it is clear you are trying to follow there. You are following what is happening here. So this is how we write the intervals, how we find the missing numbers in the intervals that we have been given. So here we have been looking at the addition of 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. But the previous two examples, we have been looking at the reduction. There was a minus of 5,000. For example, in example 2, from here 95 to arrive at 90 here, there was a minus 5,000. To arrive into the next one, again there was again minus 5,000. So that's how we have arrived on the next figure. The next figure we reduce by 5,000. So it has been always minus 5,000, 5,000. But in the last one here, we are looking at an addition of 5,000. That is the interval that we have been looking at. Now, to this far, we have come to the end of this unit that we are looking at the intervals, counting numbers in the intervals of 5,000. Now, here with me is an exercise on Unit 1D that we have been looking at. So, read through these figures, count them, and fill in the missing numbers in here. So fill in the missing numbers and you will see that it is a game that works very, very, very well. So fill in the missing numbers there in the figures that are here. So, having looked at this part, counting numbers on with the or in the intervals of 5,000, next time we're going to proceed by counting numbers in intervals of 1,000. Counting numbers in intervals of 1,000. It's another good part. We're still looking at counting the numbers. If we know how to count, nothing is going to defeat us because we know how to count, how to pronounce a figure. So be there next time, and until next time, thank you for your attention.